Yo, what is up gamers? Today I just wanted to showcase my League start for 0.5. I'm playing a strength stacking Brutus Lead Sprinkler, playing mostly Molten Blast for my clear and using Armor Breaker for my single target. This build has been amazing, absolutely able to do any content in the game on a budget. I'll show you Arbiter kills on just 5 links, 3 ascendancy points and a 1 div budget. Let me go into how this build works and why you should be playing this for your second character. Now let me just show some footage of the Arbiter kill while I talk about the mechanics of this skill and the unique skill that's on Brutus Lead Sprinkler. A lot of the scaling factors in this build comes from strength stacking, but not only that, there is also a lot of shotgunning going on, especially from Molten Blast. As you can see, Molten Blast flings a projectile towards your target, but as it hits the ground or it hits the enemy, it explodes and creates shrapnel. And much like grenades, this skill can shotgun based on the AoE created from when the projectile impacts the ground or a target. Now the absolute cornerstone of this build is the unique chest Iron Grasp. While it offers bad defenses, it has unique lines Iron Grip and Iron Will. These allow me to get % increased damage from my strength, its spell damage and projectile damage. And what this means is that we can pair this with Crown of Ice, turning the spell damage into regular attack damage instead of spell damage which we wouldn't be able to use. What this means is that strength is not only giving us flat damage from the lead sprinkler, but it's also providing us % increased damage from our chest and our helmet as well. Now that we've already gone through how we get our damage, and mostly our damage is already very high for the amount of investment we've put in, we have to talk about an important thing, defenses. Since I've sacrificed my chest and my helmet, my defenses are going to be extremely lacking. So how do we solve this? We solve this with the unique jewel, Heroic Tragedy, which gives us access to the Keystone Black Scythe training. What this gives us is increased energy shield per strength, letting us scale our energy shield through our strength. We already don't get any inherent life bonuses from the strength anymore because we are wearing Iron Grasp, so there's no downside in taking this. A lot of the footage shown in this video is before I got this jewel, which results in a very low count for my energy shield. I'm going to put up a screen cap of how much energy shield I have now with the jewel. I have about 3.5 grand. And I have a sizable amount of armor as well, around 5 grand. This is from the whatever little amount I can get from my gloves, my boots, and Iron Grasp. Not to mention, I haven't already optimized my setup and everything. I still have remaining spirit left over. I haven't figured out what to use it for. I'm gonna keep making updates to this build as I go on. But in the meantime, let me keep talking about the mechanics of this build and how it can scale further. Now that I've already gone through how I scale my offenses and defenses, let's talk about Brutus Lead Sprinkler and the skill associated with it, Molten Shower. Molten Shower is a lot like Molten Strike from PoE 1 if you play that game. But if you haven't, it's basically Molten Blast, but it originates from a person that you hit and it just shoots upwards a shower of projectiles that land on the ground after a while. This is also like Molten Blast in the sense that it can also shotgun as well. It has an inherent cooldown of 0.25 seconds per charge. It can store up to 5 charges, but because of the shotgunning mechanics of Molten Blast, it doesn't really matter because I just need to throw out 1 Molten Blast and I'll usually use out all my charges because of the shotgunning and the shrapnel as well. As long as I'm shooting Molten Blast at least once a second, I should be fine. So let's talk a little bit about why I use Armor Breaker and what I use it for. First of all, Armor Break is basically like shock for physical damage. Fully broken armor makes the target take 20% increased physical damage. And since our build is doing entirely fire damage for the most part, we're going to take Molten One's gift. This allows our Armor Break to apply to fire damage as well. And on weapon set 2, I take some luxury nodes as well that increase the effect of fully broken armor. This helps me amplify my damage, and not only that, there is a war cry known as Ancestral Cry. After igniting enemies and using Glory to cast it, I get a buff that allows my strikes to shoot molten projectiles from the enemies I strike as well. We're getting an idea of the theme of this build. Basically, we're just showering a bunch of molten lead projectiles on everybody. And what does this mean for us? It's not just a fun thing that looks cool on your screen. In fact, it's one of the scaling vectors that is very available in the very late game, or if you play this build on the Ritualist, which I highly recommend. Because Ritualist gives you that 3rd ring slot, and it's so important because this build needs so much strength and it's so good on this build. And Ritualist also allows you to scale the effect you get from your amulets and your rings as well. Wearing Headhunter or playing the Ritualist allows you to steal monster mods, and obviously the one we're most interested in is additional projectiles. Given that additional projectiles allows us to shotgun even more, this maybe doubles or even triples our damage on most of our skills. As I've said before, this build already gets more damage than it needs, especially considering we're dual wielding Brutus Lead Sprinklers, which gives us double the amount of Molten Showers. So before I started this build, I had my doubts about how much strength I could actually get, and after trying it out, I'm very pleased to realize that it's actually really easy to get a lot of strength, and I don't have to sacrifice that much to get a high amount of strength, and by high I mean around 700 to 800. And I'm pretty sure once I get more currency and I'm able to buy breach rings and whatnot, I'm able to scale this up to maybe 1000. So this is what my tree looks like. I'm just going to go through this one really quick. I'm going to talk about this only for the people that are really interested in the workings of this build. But basically, because of how this build works and how we scale our increased damage from strength and how we scale flat from strength, we no longer click any nodes that give us increased damage like you typically would. I'll consider this build quite unorthodox. So the only damage nodes that are available on the tree is attack speed, and there's this line, attack speed on dual wielding, that's good for us. Attack speed on kill, movement speed on kill, good for mapping. Here I've taken increased attributes, of course. I've taken the attribute nodes that are quite efficient. This one gives me life. This one I took because there's some evasion on the chest, and I'm just trying to use this for whatever little armor I can scrounge up. Weapon set 2, I'm just taking all the broken armor, luxury nodes and stuff. I take beef as well, of course. This is a lot of damage for us, 5%, gives us defense as well. And as you can see, the only nodes worth taking are those that are, oh god, this one's bad. I didn't read this properly. It's physical as extra. Gonna take this away. As you can see, like my build is still totally messed up. I still have empty jewel sockets and stuff. I haven't had much time to play. I've only been able to play like a little bit here and there. I've been playing a playthrough with my brother as well. Just second character I've been playing on the side. So let's go through. Oh my goodness! I just realized my gear as well. I haven't anointed and anoint a notable on my amulet. Gotta do that real quick. But just for simulation, I'm just gonna show you like one of the more important lines you can get on this build. So basically, most people, they scale damage on their build. They get projectile skills, right? What I've noticed is that actually I don't really need it because first of all, projectile skills is expensive as shit. And second of all, there's actually a better line for us. The better line is 10% increased strength. This actually comes from an essence. It comes from the essence, perfect essence of infinity. It allows you to like remove a suffix and put in either increased strength, percent increased strength, dexterity, or intelligence. It's basically like a 1 in 3 to remove a line you don't want from your suffixes, and then another 1 in 3 to get, you know, strength instead of the other stats. So crafting this amulet is completely amazing. You know, if I had more currency, I would create a amulet where it's just strength, projectile skills, and then that percent increased damage, but obviously that's going to be expensive as fuck. I'm going to delete a lot of like amulets trying to do that, but we can obviously see what would be the outcome of such a item. And if we actually, you know, create our endgame dream amulet, it's 11% more damage. And obviously this damage is not accurate, as I've already went through in the video. Molten Shower shotguns, Molten Blast shotguns, allowing Molten Shower to proc more than once. If it procs 5 times, you are counting 4 projectiles from the Molten Shower. So 4 times 5, you are proccing it 20 times. And then I have 2 Molten Showers, which means that we are proccing it like 20 times each if I shotgun with my Molten Blast. Which means that honestly, the Molten Blast damage is not even comparable to Molten Shower. It's pretty much an engine for, you know, triggering the Molten Showers for damage. And I think Because of that, while you're bossing, you really don't want to play no projectiles, because this makes it pretty much impossible with shotgun with molten blast. So you would disable this and put in, like, I don't know, elemental armors, something like that. I think yeah, counting 20 molten showers from each hand is actually a accurate, like, you know, DPS count for what I'm able to put out. But obviously you're not gonna get this all the time, so you know, I'm just gonna half it. And 400 grand per second is still pretty good. Also, given the fact that I don't have my last sanity point, I've been too lazy, haven't had much time to play. But frankly, the last Ritualist point is not too interesting. I'm probably gonna take Blood Boils, and there's just more damage and damage proliferation for my clearing, which I don't even need. So yeah, thanks for watching to this point, guys, and if you made it this far, I hope you liked the video, and if you did, please like and subscribe. I would really like it if I could monetize my channel. I plan to make more updates to this build. There's some more upgrades to be made. I need to get better Brutus Lead Sprinklers. I need to get them 6-linked. I need to get them Runeforged as well. But of course, if you want to follow the progress of this build, stay tuned, subscribe, and leave a comment if you got any suggestions or questions below. Thanks, peace.